Now we are discussing what is the second applications of dimensions of a physical quantity. The second application of a dimensions of a physical quantity is by using this dimension we can deduce any equations. We can derive any equations we can search. So the second use is deducing the equations. We can search. Reducing the relation among the physical quantities. Reducing the equation means reducing the relation. Reducing the relation among physical quantities we can say. Physical quantities we can say. That is the so this is the second use of this dimension analysis we can say. Reducing the relation among the physical quantities we can say. Suppose this we can discuss with the help of some example. What is that? Reducing the relation among the physical quantities. Suppose I will say that in the case of a simple pendulum, in the case of a oscillation of a simple pendulum, we can say that in the case of a simple pendulum is performing simple harmonic motion. Like you say, simple pendulum is performing a simple harmonic motion. Like L is considered as the length of this pendulum and M is considered as the mass of this bob and G is considered as the acceleration due to gravity we can say. So we can say that the time period of this pendulum depends on the time period of this pendulum. Suppose the time period of this pendulum depends on length, mass and acceleration due to gravity we can say. So by using this data we can derive the equation for a time period of a simple pendulum we can say. So what I am telling is the time period of a simple pendulum depends on the length of the pendulum, mass as well as acceleration due to gravity. So we can find what is the expression for the time period of a simple pendulum we can say. In order to derive this equation, in order to reducing this equation, so we can write, there is some systematic method. So we can write the time period is depends on these three factors what is given. So time period is proportional to, we can say that length, acceleration due to gravity G and mass of this pendulum we can say. So we can write this equation by this method. T is proportional to L, G, M. So we can say T is equal to proportional sign we are removing by a constant a K into, or we can say that L, G and M. We have seen already in the case of a dimension. Dimension means we are expressing a physical quantity in terms of basic quantities and their power. Here power is unknown, exponents are unknown. So we are keeping some unknown quantities x, y, z. L raised to x, G raised to y and M raised to z we can say. This is our initial steps and I put this equation as equation number 1 we can say. This is the initial stage of deriving this equation. So I got the expression as T is equal to K is a constant, L raised to x, G raised to y and M raised to z. Now the next step is we have to substitute the values of dimensions in this case. T, time period. We know T, time period only. Time period means if you are expressing in terms of dimension, it is only time T. So M raised to 0, L raised to 0, T raised to 1 is equal to. K is a constant, there is no dimension, so there is no need to mention here. So is equal to L raised to x. L raised to x means length only, so I will mention as L raised to 1 only. L raised to 1 into raised to exponents, L raised to 1 into x. G means acceleration due to gravity. We know what is the dimensional formula. So that is M raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to minus 2, all raised to y we can say that. This way we are expressing. And the mass means what is that? M raised to 1 only. So we are representing in terms of M raised to 1, in terms of exponent as z we can say it. So this is the way we are expressing in terms of dimensions of a given quantities. Now we can expand this. We can see that M raised to 0, L raised to 0, T raised to 1 is equal to. We can expand all this. You can see that L raised to 1 into x means L raised to x only. Here you can see that m raised to 0 into y means m raised to 0, m raised to 0, l raised to y, t raised to minus 2y only, and again m raised to z we can set. This is the way we are representing our physical quantities we can say. Now I will again rearrange this equation as you can see that m raised to 0, l raised to 0, t raised to 1 is equal to. We can rearrange this equation exactly. This is correct only. L raised to x, m raised to 0 into y means m raised to 0 only. L raised to y, t raised to minus 2y, and m raised to 1 in z means m raised to z we can see. Now we can rearranging in terms of m, l, t. See that m, if you are writing m as m raised to, in this case only m raised to 0 plus z, m raised to z we can see. L raised to, you can see that. What is L raised to? L raised to x is there, L raised to y, that means L raised to x plus y we can set. Then in the case of a t only, so t raised to, you can see that the minus 2y we can represent. So this is the way we can rearranging all these, and our equation becomes m raised to 0, L raised to 0, t raised to 1 is equal to, you can see that our equation is m raised to z, l raised to x plus y, and t raised to minus 2y. This way only our equation is done. Now what we are going to do is, we are getting the power of m. If you are getting the power of m from both the sides. If you are getting the power from both the sides, you can see that power of m we are getting from both the sides. M, that means a 0 only. Here it is a z, so we can get 0 as z. So from this equation we are getting z is equal to 0. Then if you are getting the power of L means a 0 only. So 0 is equal to what is coming? X plus y. X and y we are not knowing, so let it be. And the third is if you are getting time means 1 only. So 1 is equal to what is that? Minus 2y we can say that. So from this equation y is equal to what is coming? Minus 1 by 2 we can say that. So y also we are getting as minus 1 by 2. So if you are substituting this value of y, so 0 is equal to x minus 1 by 2. So x is equal to 1 by 2 we are getting. So like this way we are getting the value of z we are getting, y we are getting, and x we are getting. Now what we are doing is we are substituting these values on our equation. We can see that our equation, first equation is, we can see that what is our first equation. Our first equation is, we can see that first equation is t is equal to what is coming? K, L raised to x, g raised to y, and m raised to z. So we are substituting these values back on this equation. So k into L raised to x means what is that? X value we know, L raised to half. G value, y we know, raised to minus 1 by 2. And m raised to z. Any number raised to 0 is 1. So that time will go. So equation becomes t is equal to k into any number raised to 1 by 2 means under root. That means it should be k into L by g is coming. So this is the equation for a time period of a simple pendulum we can say. So we are getting the expression for time period of a simple pendulum as t is equal to k into under root of L by g. So this k is a constant that we will study later. So k is coming as 1 by 2 pi only. So t is equal to 1 by 2 pi under root of L by g. So basically this is the equation for a time period of a simple pendulum we can see. And this is a method we are following to representing the time period of a simple pendulum. So as a t is equal to k under root of L by g. So this is the method we are following in the case of a dimension to derive the equations with the help of dimensions we can say. Here I use the method means I consider the case of a time period of a simple pendulum only. I derive the equation for a time period of a simple pendulum only. The time period of a simple pendulum depends on length, mass, and acceleration due to gravity. Based on that only we are coming, and we are coming to this x, y, z, and finally we are substituting and we are getting the formula as this. This is the method of a dimension to derive the equation for a time period of a simple pendulum. Then one more question we will consider. in the case of a time period of a simple pendulum. We are seeing another situation is we have to consider the case of a question is this only: a body of mass m move in a circular path of radius r with a velocity v. Find the expression for the centripetal force acting on the particle. So we are going to find the equation for a centripetal force acting on a particle. Centripetal force. It is given in the question: the body of mass m move in a circular path of radius r with a velocity v. Find the expression for a centripetal force. So here we can say that the centripetal force acting depends on three factors. This depends on mass of the body, then radius, then it is also given velocity. A body of mass m move in a circular path of radius r with velocity v. Find the expression for the centripetal force acting. So the force acting on this particle depends on basically these three factors: mass, radius, and velocity, we can see. So we have to write initially we have to write this data like this: force is directly proportional to m r velocity. Then if we can replace this constant, means proportionality signed by a constant, f is equal to k m r v, and also we are expressing in terms of power. So we can express this as m raised to x, r raised to y, and v raised to z, we can say. So f is equal to k into m raised to x, r raised to y, and v raised to z, we can say. Now the next step is we have to substitute the values of dimensions. Force means we know what is force. Force is m raised to 1. F is equal to ma. That means L raised to 1, T raised to minus 2, we can say. This is the expression for a force, we can say. K is a dimensionless constant. That means we don't want to mention that dimension. Mass means m raised to x, m raised to 1 into x only. R means radius, that means in terms of length only. L raised to 1, y only. And velocity means m raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to minus 1, all raised to z, we can say. This way we are representing the velocity, we can say. Now we can rearrange this equation: m raised to 1, L raised to 1, T raised to minus 2 is equal to m raised to 1 into x means m raised to x, L raised to y. Now we are opening this bracket, means m raised to 0, L raised to z, T raised to minus z, we can say. T raised to minus z, we can say. So we are rearranging this equation. That means you can see that m raised to 1. We are rearranging this equation, means m raised to 1, L raised to 1, and T raised to minus 2 is equal to. You see that m raised to x is L, so we can write the equation as m raised to x. M raised to x. M raised to 0 means 0 only, that means 1. Then L raised to, what is coming? Y plus z is coming. L raised to y plus z, and T raised to minus z is coming. T raised to minus z will come. So this way we are representing our dimensions. Now we are equating the power on both the sides. First power of mass, we can say that. So 1 is equal to x, we can say. So we are getting the answer as x is equal to 1. Same way we are getting the power of L, length. What is that? 1 is equal to y plus z is there. So we can't do anything now, let it be. And time t, you can see that minus 2 is equal to what is coming? Minus z. Minus 2 is equal to minus z. That means we can say that z is equal to what is coming? 2 is coming. Z is coming 2 means we can see that 1 is equal to y plus 2 only. That means we can say that y is equal to, from this equation, y is equal to what is coming? Y is equal to 1 minus 2, that means minus 1 is coming. So y also we are getting as a minus 1. Now we can substitute all this equation number 1 we can say. So f is equal to k into m raised to x. What is the value of x? M raised to 1. And r raised to y. What is the value of y? Minus 1 we can set. And v raised to z. I will write this equation first so we can understand more. So f is equal to k m raised to x, r raised to y, and v raised to z. Now we can say f is equal to k into m raised to x. What is the value of x? 1. We will substitute the value of 1. R means r raised to y means y is minus 1. So we will substitute minus 1. And v raised to z is a 2 we can set. So v raised to 2 we can say. That means we will rearranging only f is equal to k into m v square. M v square divided by r raised to minus 1 means by r. So the equation becomes f is equal to k m v square by r we can say. So the centripetal force acting on a particle is given by f is equal to k m v square by r or m v square by r. This is the way we are getting the force by the method of dimensions. Clear? Okay, fine.